This is Joy News Prime. I am Samuel Kojo Braze. In our headlines this hour, as 244,000 businesses adjust to current economic hardship, close to 20% of Ghanaian youth remain unemployed. In this bulletin, we share how an event planner has diversified to ride out of poverty.
During the COVID, because our job line was down, I decided to shift from one to another business. So I thought of going into the motor business, it's been a delivery business.
Now, after weeks of reeling under the impact of power outage in Yilo and Manya Krobo municipalities, Electricity Company of Ghana agrees to restore power following a meeting between the national security and officials of the ECG. Also in this bulletin, 3 mentally challenged women have been raped and killed within the last 3 months at New Ebrim in the Brim North District of the Eastern Region.
Nipa bonfo bi abo omutrimu pose abodamfo a omoye ma sabi yenuanom a omadwemu ka omoye ma omonenam kurom omode da monten so no omobekum nti omakum omatoa so e wa bremu kurom nko a.
Some wicked people have decided to kill women who are mentally challenged.
Also, some students in Ghana employ UV light to outwit school authorities and cheat in examinations.
Have a pen that can write, so the naked eye cannot see the writing. When it comes to the exam hall, we say start work, they will use a UV pen, which will then review the writing on their skin or somewhere.
Now, broken, dreams shattered, effort squandered. These are some of the dire consequences of an outbreak never predicted. Few could wrap their heads around it when it first broke, the COVID-19 pandemic. Many countries continue to blame their economic woes on it. COVID-19 brought with it intense devastation as never been seen before. Many businesses collapsed. But just when businesses were collapsing, it was also a period that saw the birth of some incredible business ideas. One of them is Bafo Nketia Sapon's Erod Delivery Services. Joy News editor Seram Abladi-Souza studied how hunger during a pandemic birthed an incredible business.
In the Medina municipality of the Greater Accra region of Ghana, one of the riders of Erod Delivery Services picks up a small box of chocolate for delivery in Adentan. He has an estimated 5 minutes. This delivery business was born out of the COVID-19 pandemic by Bafo Nketia Sapon. Originally an event planner and owner of events par excellence, Bafo lost his business at the peak of the pandemic.
So these are some of the pictures of a national event we did. It was so nice and successful. So as other people came around to find out who did the decor. People were like, you. People were surprised at how could I do that. This is a wedding decor that we did at the University of Ghana. We hosted about 300 guests. My employees were like 15. This was a birthday party we did for a CCS girl. So we chose the Frozen character. It was so nice. She was happy. It was something like a surprise for her.
He is just one of those whose daily bread was affected by the virus. Data from the Ghana Statistical Service indicates 42,000 people were laid off. 25% of Ghana's workforce had their salaries slashed. The pandemic also led to the reduction of working hours of 700,000 people. Being broke in the solitude of a lockdown triggered deep thoughts about how to survive. Bafo ventured into the delivery business.
During the COVID, because our job line was down, I decided to shift from one to another business. So I thought of going into the motor business, it's been a delivery business, because no matter what, people get food, buy drugs and other things, and you need someone to bring it to you.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Ghanaians have turned more towards delivery services.
I have people that I call privately who don't have apps. but I have their contacts and I do business with. It works for me, and the apps too work for me. But the one that is people, what makes it easier is you just pick up your phone and you call, and they are there.
Going out to get something becomes a stress, and as I am a student as well, I have to be in school due to some classes and some projects. So just going online to get what you want is very it's very fast and it's very helpful.
I'm a customer. My satisfaction is your priority, so you are supposed to make sure that whatever I want, it should be given to me. So I would personally want you to bring it to me than giving it to someone else to deliver it to me. Yes.
Bafo, who has taken advantage of this need and created a business, also employs some young men. One of them is Bismarck Labi.
Bismarck is one of the employees we started with when Route delivery service came in mind. And he has been a very wonderful person, very hardworking and very humble. Clients always talk about him in his good aspects. I haven't had a report from any clients, and I think he does get little tips.
I was once an instrumentalist, and since there was COVID-19, since the COVID-19, there wasn't any like band playing and all stuff. So I decided to contact Bafo, so to buy me a bike for delivery. So he agreed on that and bought the bike for me.
Bismarck is using this opportunity as a stepping stone to launch his own business in the near future.
We are 4 riders in a route company. Kofi is one of the riders. So I think after the work and pay contract, we'll still do the delivery.
After a period of time, the bikes will become theirs as they pay me. You know, this work and pay is like paying twice of the amount of how much we purchased the bike. So for like a year and a half, I think 19 months or so, the bike will become theirs. So
this success comes at a price.
Police been arresting the bikers and accidents. A time came that we had to deliver a birthday cake to someone, to a client, and the rider had an accident. So we charged like 30 cedis. We had to go and pay 300 cedis for the cake. You can't tell the client that we had an accident, your cake is spoiled or something. You have no option than to pay. So those are some of the major challenges that we encounter. And some, even for instance, you could see bandage on my hand. You know, I think last week I had to deliver something to someone and I had an accident that had affected my hand. So the challenges are many.
Bafo hopes his ability to diversify and create another business at the peak of the pandemic would continue to motivate people to think outside the box and remain hopeful.
This job has been very helpful to me. Event planners lost our job and it has been my backbone. At least you get something to put on table, something to buy your fuel or anything, something. So this job, I've never regretted doing it.
Now, Joy News data analyst Isaac Kofi joins me in studio with a breakdown of how businesses adjusted during the height of COVID-19 and the number of jobs lost in that same period. Kofi, how did businesses adjust during that period?
There you have it on your screens. Almost close to 30% of firms had to close down during the partial lockdown in 2020. And just like you know, unemployment is already high in Ghana. So if you have this significant percentage of businesses shutting down or closing during pandemics, some of them are still, have been shut down and some have also reopened, but there's still challenges. It's actually impact on what we call youth unemployment. So you can actually realize that between 2017 to 2020, youth unemployment was between the average of 9%. And by 2021, when the Ghana Statistical Service actually released their population and housing census data, we've seen that youth unemployment has risen from 9% to a whopping 19.7%, which is very, very significant. Now, in terms of the actuals or the nominal figures, per this survey that was done by the Statistical Service in 2020, we could see that a total of 770,000, workers had to reduce their wages as a result of the pandemic. And then we also have 42,000 workers who unfortunately lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic as well. Then those who had to reduce their, working hours, that was close to the total number of people who lost their jobs, 700,000 within that same period under review. But when we talk about adjustment, just like, Balfour and then had to adjust from one business to the other, we've seen a lot of businesses adjusting, many of them resorting to digital solutions and then using internet-based. But if you look at the actual situation in terms of businesses that had to adjust because of the pandemic, we have 244,000 businesses adjusting. I've given some of the examples where some had to resort to, the internet and digital solutions. So, Brace, this is what we see currently. This is the current picture that we have. Youth unemployment being at 19.7%, which has risen from the average of 9% between 2017 to 2020.
Incredible. Now, joining us on Zoom on how businesses such as Balfour and Kojo Sapons can survive and to create more jobs is an entrepreneur, Wilson Arthur. Thank you so much, Mr. Arthur, for joining us. First of all, your reaction on Balfour Sapons' story. Ms. Arthur, if you can unmute for us so we hear exactly what you're telling us.
Yes, I said that I'm very impressed with his outcome. Basically, what he's done is to sell convenience. He hit a dead wall. He scanned around and realized that, hey, I can do this. I can be of value. And he readjusted himself and provided a value. And that's what life is about. It's about the value you can create, the value you can put on yourself. Unfortunately, most of our education and our training is just towards getting a job. So you go to school to get a certificate to get a job. You become an engineer to get a job. It's about job, it's about pay. And that is the problem. If we are reorientated and start looking at how do I become of service? How do I impact? What can I do to make a difference? What can I do to help? Life is about you being valuable, putting more value on yourself. You look around. The other day, somebody was pointing to me that, look, we have 40-something radio stations in Sekendi Takrady now. When your transmitter breaks down, you are in trouble. Meanwhile, we have a TT, we have a whole technical university here. What value are they serving the industry? Zero. Why? They are training so many people. So what value? And they bring contractors to come and even put up buildings on campus. Our education is a problem.
Okay.
Our education and our orientation, this money. If you have to offer somebody a job, the question he will ask you is, how much will you pay me? It's about pay. And that is a problem.
Okay. Now, as a very successful entrepreneur yourself, what would be your recommendation to people like, Kwame Sapon, who have started something, and how they can create their own businesses to employ people?
Basically, you need to scan around your environment. You need to scan your environment and see where the challenges, where the bottlenecks are. When I hear of challenges, when I hear that, I live in this area, there's no water. So what can I do to provide water? That's how businesses are built. You may not have money, somebody has money. So you need to be resourceful. You don't necessarily have to, when they say that it takes money to make money, it's not true. It takes brains. It takes brains to develop a nation. It takes brains to transform an economy. It takes brains to transform a community. It takes brains, basically. And that brains should be looking at what can I do? What value can I provide? And there's so much challenges around this. And in the challenges are the opportunities, and they are the business opportunities.
Okay.
There's so much. I mean, for somebody like me who comes from rural districts, I used to be a rural DC. I ran through my area and I see so many opportunities. Okay. So many opportunities.
All right.
It's like the proverbial salesperson who goes into a community and says everybody's is barefooted.
So In that regard, how are businesses like yours integrating digital tools into their operations, and how does that influence cost and productivity?
Basically, what we've realized in our space is that people are no longer just listening to radio on the handset. They've gone digital. A lot of people are consuming content on digital interfaces, and a lot of them are on social media now. So yes, we now, if you come to Sky, the language is on air, online, and direct. You know, it's on air, online, and direct. So yeah, we're investing a lot in online and the direct events. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. But if there is one policy direction that you think Ghana as a state can implement to help young people to create jobs and their own businesses, what will that be?
Into new development. Hello?
We are listening to you, sir.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
The line is bad. But
Okay. All right. I think we are having some technical challenges there, but that's Wilson Arthur. He is a commissioner with the National Development Planning Commission. Now, 3 mentally challenged women have been raped and killed within the last 3 months at New Ebrim in the Brim North District of the Eastern Region. Residents say the victims had part of their bodies removed. Residents of New Ebrim say they are living in fear.
Speaking to Adom News, Member of Parliament for Ebrim constituency, John Osei Frimpong, said residents suspect the murders are for ritual purposes. He is, however, of the opinion a well-lit street would in some way help prevent such attacks by criminals.
Nipa bonfo bi abo omutrimu pose abodamfo a omo ye ma sabi yenuanom a omadwemu ka omo ye ma omo nenam kurom omo de da monten so no omo beku omo.
Some wicked people have decided to kill women who are mentally challenged. They have killed 3 of them at New Ebrim. This is the 3rd time. They killed one on 15th April, another on 15th May. About 3 weeks ago, they killed another one. Our checks revealed they had sex with them before they removed some of their body parts. All evidence points to ritual murder.
District Security Council omosia ama nananum ahemfo nso asia nananum ahemfo sia no mo fa adwen se krom hanom asofo ne imamfo nyina no omo nyina ka omo ho abom na omo adi dwuma.
DISEC has met. Traditional authorities have also had meetings. Our pastors and churches have decided to also pray for the culprits to be arrested. Have decided to present these street lights to be the first step to keep the killings.
Abram no near district capital. Ghana no baby wo ho ebi ni ho. Timagina me nanso se me to mako oha. Na me de ache abremu kromu. Ni ahwe ne de abobọ to kromu baby a ne enim se baby aka ne awo no. Obi entra ho no mu eni bone nipa mbonfo epesum ene wo de ne bone nti kane no ba ebebo anti ene no na mo edikan a metu a mese me de bo aman so ya hwe sa security sem no.
Receiving the items, Obrimpon Amo Tretrie Ebrim Hene thanked the MP for the street lights, but described it as a short-term solution. He appealed for further support to build an ultra-modern police station to help fight such criminals in the area.
Street lights. No etimi aboa na high ayaduma ubia ntimi enkodi abonefosem.
These street lights would help prevent the criminal activities in the community. I will immediately inform I will soon cut sort for an ultra-modern police station in the community to be built, which will be completed by December.
Some of the residents share their concern.
As women, we do not have strength to fight back the men when they attack us. We are pleading with the government to come to our aid. It is disheartening to wake up every morning to hear someone has been killed and dumped.
Akwesi Dramenes reports, read to you.
Now, Member of Parliament for the Ibrahim constituency, John Osei-Frimpong, has described the act as barbaric. Let us get onto the phone now and speak to the Member of Parliament for the constituency, John Osei-Frimpong. Thank you so much for joining us. What is your briefing on this unfortunate incident in your constituency? Mr. Frimpong?
What I can say now is we have come together as the leadership of the community, myself, the chief, and then the dissect, headed by the district chief executive, Honorable Raymond Anadapti. The dissect had their meeting and came out with some measures that will help curtail some of these activities. At the end of the day, we all gathered and then came out with measures that we think will nip the whole thing in. My part as the MP for the area, when the information was sent to me, I made sure I drove down to see the chief, who had earlier gathered all the clergy, including the Islamic, to organize a prayer festival to draw the attention or even sensitize the community on what is happening in the area. It is true that 3 mentally challenged women have been killed within the space of 3 months. The first one happened on 15th April, the next one 15th May, and the most recent one was 23rd July. All of them were found to have been clubbed after being raped. The last one was sent to the hospital when she was not dead. After a few minutes on arrival, she was pronounced dead. Analysis on that person, investigation on that person also revealed that they had sex with her. They found traces of semen on the body. This calls for urgent and immediate action to resolve the issue. We don't know the people doing this thing. It has gone on. What 3 incidents one can conclude that it's rampant and it's going on. We don't know how to stop it. That's the more reason why the ISEC also came out with measures to stop this one. We have the night patrols, and this one will be augmented by the community watchdog that we are putting together. And then we will also have snap checks with the police to make sure unregistered vehicles that fly the area in the night between 8 to 5 a.m. will be stopped. And then also, my part as the MP, I gave right away 100 sets of street lights, all together with accessories. And I think this will also help to get the area lit, to scare those who perpetrate that crime.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. That's the MP for the Ibrahim constituency. Now to other stories. The skin or cloth have traditionally been used by many students to aid in cheating during examinations. In addition to these, most invigilators are aware of the use of calculators, phones, and watches to cheat. A study by the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has found one which eludes the invigilators, and that is the use of UV light. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with the lead scientist, Dr. Bollard Foucault.
The rise in academic cheating indicates that students are finding innovative techniques to cheat during examinations. This situation has left many invigilators and academic stakeholders wondering how students manage to cheat in exams. The study, published in the journal Educational Research International, sought to explore the techniques used by students during examinations. Dr. John Bollard Foucault of the Department of Sociology and Social Work is the lead researcher.
At all levels of our educational system, I think examinations are crucial. And most of the certificates that we give out, the integrity of those certificates depend on the quality of the examinations that we conduct. So examinations are central to the university education that we do. We've been interested in how students approach examinations and the strategies that some of the students use to get around some of the examination regulations, and that is one of the motivations that led to this particular study. Okay, so we spoke to a number of university students, and when we were doing the study, we spoke to those who were in final year, and they told us that before the exam, they try and devise different strategies that they use to take advantage of or cheat, if we may use that word. And one of the interesting things that they told us was that they use technology, new technology. So for instance, there are some newly designed pens that they can use to scan the question paper. So while they are writing, the question is scanning the papers, and they can then, when they ask to go to the washroom, send the questions out to someone at home to give them the responses before they come back and write. Others too use sophisticated watches that can scan the question paper so that at all points in time, even when the examiner says, don't take my question out, they still have access to the questions when they go. Okay, so the students are coming up with interesting techniques, including the use of UV lights. So sometimes they have a pen that can write, so the naked eye cannot see the writing, but you write on his index number or his style. When it comes to the exam hall, we say style work, they will use a UV pen, which will then reveal the writing on their skin or somewhere. Then they will use that to do what? To inform their answers. So they are using different technologies to enhance the way they cheat. But then the universities too, we are trying to catch up with how students are using technologies so that we can also ensure the integrity of the examinations that we conduct. Well, the way forward is for us as researchers to always inform our policymakers so that they can make policies to improve the way we conduct examinations. So for instance, I know that KNUST, we've started preventing students from coming to the exam hall with smartwatches, because we know that when they come, they can use it to access other devices.
Still to come here, after weeks of reeling under the impact of power outage in Yilo and Manya Krobo municipalities, the ECG agrees to restore power following a meeting between the national security and officials of the ECG. We'll take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be back with more stories. Welcome back from the break there. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has agreed to restore power to the Yilo and Lower Manya Krobo municipalities of the Eastern region. Joy News can exclusively confirm the agreement was brokered by the national security at a meeting attended by officials of the ECG, paramount chiefs, among other stakeholders. The areas have been plunged into darkness since Wednesday, July 27, because Electricity Company of Ghana switched off feeders supplying power to communities in the two municipalities over illegal connections and disagreement over bills. Joy News editor Fred Smith has details of this meeting and joins us on Zoom. Fred, thank you so much for joining. What are the details of this meeting?
Well, Bruce, sorry, I couldn't hear your question. Your line was breaking.
I'm asking for the details of this particular meeting we're talking about.
Well, you know, it's been about 2 weeks since the electricity company disconnected the feeders to the two municipalities. So the communities in and around have been without power for that period, and the national security has been concerned about it because there are security implications for the people living in those areas. It is the reason why the meeting was called, to try and address the impasse between the ECG and the residents. At the end of the day, there's been some conclusion to the matter. Both sides agree that the ECG should provide power and that the residents must pay for that power they receive from the ECG. The meeting also agreed that the ECG will publish a roadmap towards restoring power to the areas. So as part of that, the ECG also made it clear that some 12 of its transformers within that area had been destroyed by people they did not know. So to be able to provide the power, ECG had to replace all of those transformers that had been destroyed. as the information we pick from our sources within the meeting indicate that starting tomorrow, the 12th of August, we'll have some engineers accompany the 12 transformers, which will be sent to these areas to try and replace those that have been destroyed.
Interesting. What of the debt that is already there? What's the arrangement or agreement on that?
Well, I have no information on that yet, but the ECG, there has been some agreement towards that, and that the ECG in the roadmap that we expect them to publish will indicate what the plan is to restore all of that. And so we are looking at somewhere this weekend for the electricity company to connect the two municipalities to the national grid to restore all the confusion we've had over the last 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. That's Joy News editor Fred Smith there. Now, speaking on Asempa FM Wednesday, before this meeting on Thursday, the managing director of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Samuel Mahama, said they were ready to reconnect power to the two municipalities only when the people can negotiate with the company, but added they would only give them prepaid meters. According to him, because lives of their workers are under threat, they would use only military in any possible reconnection exercise. Listen.
Penifo afrehun nkomone ade na edru baby a monte yanka ntina yese ne bia na yese ne ya boye ni ene ya sheda ne de no nti edru baby edru pepeso wose animu nyina be din nkomo na obi ate ase aseme wo na etiminya kwan de be fa so de aso ano ya ye concessions bebre ye was nkomo im ene egusu din nkomo but me wa rehye say with the last final meetings here benyan e betimi anya an agreement I bet me and I don't know withstanding also say Makacho say critical institutions near the new bedin common share how you bet me a resource kakra with diesel near there so that they can run their plants.
Me sofu penny back say Obi greetings. I'm currently serving in Agomenya and listening to you. Agomenya should be in the voter reason. Okay. Also, it is important that you also listen to the community for a balanced view. Yes, it is true that there are errors on the part of the community, but ECG also has a role to play. And I'll say, okay, the issue is about a few of the people and not the majority of the people on the Krobo land. And these are people who also believe, say, maybe say, a proper recollection. I would see maybe along the line, no, ECG also play a role in this.
Okay, I may starting come then I'm kind. Me see ya a fault wa demu. Ya tum as apacho. Ni say way forward
anything. Okay.
Oh, yeah, me jitum say sofo asem so ha no. Sana asem so ha me. Me den say ye be so ano akoye nim ye so ano say. Ni akoye nim say. Oh, yes. Enti sofo de me meka ne say yentimi fa humobro emu man ani yentimi fa humobro emu ECG company no asem na aba na yampa ye fomye ya giatum ya ring fence and
until am ring fences are dead
concessions abam FM ena ye kase bibia ye dru sisia no yentimi ntina sesa enti se ye kase ye ko migitum se wo de watie omoside watie omoside afi na ye yaba ena ye be kan asem sisia bibia ye dru no ye de no se okay, my boy, also wabomi. Waiting, Miss Wetu. Sisiane, then ye yakwe. Because ye kasi ye be bon komo upon we chrea, ye be kasasa, yen koye nimba kupose.
And how much you ring fence, then so you're very huge.
168
million Ghana cedis.
Yes, so 2018 to 2022, the Ebema. Ye kakako. Ye pat, ye kakako 300 million.
Yeah.
And na me name in Crawford na kasa no pay say. Hospitals, no. Yeah, they should come forward.
Okay.
Let's have a chat.
Okay.
Yeah, here's any very resourceful more with diesel and they the necessary preparations. Near more with diesel.
Or more gen sets.
Or more gen sets. So mu complain a bedroom and me almost spending 30,000 cedis on diesel. That should tell you how much ECG is also losing. So would you was so soon now say we use any.
Now, fundraising for the construction of the National Cathedral project has been impeded by what promoters describe as politicization of the project. About 32 million cedis have so far been accrued to the donor fund from local sources for the construction. Chief Executive of the National Cathedral Project, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, is calling for concerted effort to depoliticize the construction to ease fundraising activities. He spoke at a press conference organized by the Kumasi Council of Christian Churches to whip up support for the construction. Nane Aljima has more in the following report.
The National Cathedral Project was proposed by the government in March 2017 as a physical embodiment of national unity and spirituality. The 350 million interdenominational cathedral will seat 5,000 people in the auditorium as well as chapels and a baptistry. The project, planned for completion in March 2024, will host a Bible museum, among others. The release of 25 million cedis as seed money by the government courted wide disapproval from some Ghanaians, leading to further politicization of issues. Chief Executive of the National Cathedral Project, Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, explains fundraisers were negatively affected by the political elements.
Even our fundraising was affected. In fact, at the time when this noise came, we were in the process of bringing one of the key international donors, the founder of the Bible Museum, Mr. Green, who was supposed to be here in July. All of a sudden, they sent this thing that, look, Paul, what are we hearing? All this noise about this cathedral. They say we are misapplying money. And so, of course, it does affect this project. And it affects not just this project, but our country's development.
Through the various means for funds, 32 million cedis have been raised locally for the project. Dr. Opoku-Mensah says efforts are being made to make contributions more convenient.
We've raised about 32 million, but I say it's not enough because if you look at what we expect, we are also our international fundraising is not part of this. We're talking about what we've raised in Ghana, about around 32 million cedis, yes. So what we are doing, in fact, from the 1st of September, what we are going to do, we are launching a campaign, a major campaign. So we are professionalizing the fundraising infrastructure and really building the technology platform that allows us to do mass mobilization. That had not been done.
Meanwhile, the Kumasi Council of Christian Churches is soliciting financial support for the project. Most Reverend Dr. Daniel Yinkasafo, addressing the press, called on church leaders to encourage their members to support.
The project is at a very critical stage where Christians in Ghana need to forcibly come on board. This is the key to the church ownership of this historic monument. And that also celebrates the Christian presence and contributions to the country. We also appeal to all Christians in the country, and particularly Ashanti, to financially support this critical national project. The 100 cedis a month club makes it possible.
For Joy News, Nane Aljima, Kumasi.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with Showbiz with Bex. Stay with us. And that's it for the bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Up next is Prime Business. My name is Samuel Kojo. To enjoy your evening.